Hello everyone, it is Airphoto, and today we're starting another new journal, which should not be a shock to anyone, but towards the end of like a calendar year, when I'm like trying to think about things for next year, I like to trial a bunch of stuff. So that's why I'm doing the goal setting situation that I'm doing now that you saw a couple videos ago. And today I'm going to start this little A6, it's literally palm sized planner. And this one is going to be something that I'm revisiting from seasons past, and that is a health and wellness planner. So I've always incorporated health and wellness into my bullet journaling. You can kind of see even in my bullet journal today, like I always have sections for like working out and things like that. I've been paying attention to my macros and calories and calculating things a lot more lately. So while I do that on my phone, it is nice to be able to kind of like summarize things in a certain place. So that's what I'm going to use this for. And again, this is mostly trialing things. Like I said, towards the end of the year, I'm thinking about next year. And for me, I like to trial things before I do them. Maybe it is just because of how things go at my work all the time. We call them pilot programs, where we test something for X amount of time and then we roll it out to everyone. So for me, that's kind of what I'm doing here is I'm trialing it for a month or two, seeing how it's going at the end of the year, and then seeing if that's going to make it into my lineup starting in 2026. So I haven't designed anything, by the way. This is just blank A6 notebook that I had. But what I will say is while I was doing one of my massive declutterings, I found a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even know existed. I have stacks of just like leftover stickers from everywhere. I have a bunch of scrapbook papers and things like that. So I think I'm going to go in that direction and like do things a little bit more fun and quirky. So I think this is the one that I pulled out immediately because it like vibed with me right now. I'm not going to do the stencils, but I am going to use like some of these scrapbook papers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that and then come back towards the end. I'm not going to do any sort of like beginning setup or anything like that. If I do this in 2026, I will probably have a beginning setup, but I just want to kind of map things out how I would normally do it in my day, just to give you an idea and introduce a topic. And then in another month, we can kind of roll back and see how it's been working out. So let's go ahead and set something up. So I picked these papers that are like very teal focused, and I wanted to lean heavily into the teals. So I went through all the sticker sheets and anything that had that kind of teal, I kind of pulled out. So that's why there's a whole bunch of like things that don't seem like they go along together to help me make this spread. So instead of talking you through what I'm doing, because you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm going to kind of talk about why the journey is starting and why it's starting now and how everything kind of came to be and why I'm focusing on my health and wellness. So you may have heard me talk about this, but I had gestational diabetes during my pregnancy. So when I was pregnant, I actually didn't gain pretty much any weight because I had to be so strict with what I was eating and measuring my insulin. That's where I found out that having many meals a day to help my blood sugar levels was really helpful, and that is actually pretty closely associated with PCOS and how PCOS works and insulin resistance and how that works. So it just kind of came naturally that I would continue that type of lifestyle after my pregnancy. However, I struggled a lot because I was breastfeeding, and when I say I've never been hungrier in my entire life, I mean that. I was hungry all the time. I would be asleep in the middle of the night, feed him, and then I would need to eat something because I was so hungry all the time. It felt like I could never eat enough food in order to produce the food for my son. And so because of that, I ended up gaining like 20 pounds after the pregnancy while I was breastfeeding. And it was a real struggle for me to try to work out, to try to find balance between raising my son, breastfeeding, in the middle of the night, no less, also during the day, pumping, because the first couple months I was also exclusively pumping. So all of that was really, really difficult for me. And I ended up gaining a lot of weight. So now that I am done breastfeeding and I've been done for a little while now, I really want to go back, focus in, hone in on the health aspect of everything, making sure I am keeping track of my nutrition, keeping track of my workouts, and really just having that sort of lifestyle come back into my life. Okay, so that was an adventure. I think you could kind of see me stumbling through it as I'm like trying to figure out how I want to do things. So in this case, I wanted to make it a 2-page spread just because there's some more information than I would normally have on a daily basis. I think most of the time this is going to end up being like a 1-pager type thing where I don't even necessarily need the whole meals breakdown, but I kind of wanted to show you where I was coming from for all of this. So those are going to be the two main things that are on here is meals, and the macro breakdown for that, and workouts, because that is what my health and wellness journey situation is about right now. If I needed to add medication or anything like that, I think I would also incorporate that. But right now, it's pretty much the basics. I just got off of a medication. It's not a GLP-1. My insurance would not approve a GLP-1. So I did go on a stimulant that lasted for 3 months. It did help me get down about 20 pounds from the get-go, and it really like helped kickstart all of this. And so after I did that, and I knew I wasn't going to get approved for a GLP-1, and we do not have the money to pay out of pocket for a GLP-1 to like kind of assist me, I am like just trying to be extremely cautious of what I am eating. We have always been very conscious of our eating habits. My husband is a nutritionist and a personal trainer, so we have always chosen primarily protein meals. We do have carbs in our house because we both strength train, so carbs aren't the enemy for us. So we do want to find some balance with incorporating carbs. I also have PCOS, and I have issues with insulin resistance. So trying to find a blood sugar balance is really, really important for me. So I have a lot of little meals throughout the day versus having like 3 big meals a day. And that's kind of what you can see here. It looks like a ton that I ate a ton in the day, but it's just because it's like little things like my Fairlife drink in the morning. I just put pumpkin. It's pumpkin French toast made with like 647 bread, which is like a keto alternative. So we are still trying to find the low carb options. The steak wrap, the wrap is the carb balance wrap from Mission, for example. So we are very, very conscious of all of that. And we are weighing our foods and everything like that. So that's where all of these numbers come from. So at first you could kind of see I didn't like how that was getting set up for me because like I wanted to have what the splits were. So this is calories, protein, carbs, and fats. And that's why I had the macros plan over here. So that way I knew which it was in order. And then I have the totals here at the bottom for the day. And then my 2 workouts, back and a walking. We pretty much always have a walking workout, at least one, sometimes usually 2. It's going to get a little bit more difficult in the winter, but we will try to make it work. And then I had my back workouts, which was in the gym. We have a gym outside in our garage. So that's kind of the basics of my plan, and how I'm trying to go about doing this daily. Like I said, I think that, and I have all of this logged on my phone also. That's kind of how I can write it all down here, because this is back from the 14th. Today is the 17th. So, and I accidentally put the wrong day at first because I didn't track my macros on the 15th. Or maybe I tracked it on the 15th and not the 16th. Either way, I didn't track my macros for a couple of days because, and then I put it in at the end of the day to see if, like, I kind of have a good idea over what and how much I am able to eat in the day. So I want to make it so that I don't have to necessarily measure everything every day all the time, log it all the time, and I'm still trying to keep that diet. So there are days that I'm not going to be able to get in here, and I know that for a fact because my life feels so chaotic right now. So I didn't like how that and the other one was ending up, so I decided to put some more of the scrap paper down. And I think the scrap paper is like from like 2016, 2017. I think it's from Target Dollar Spot, like way back in the day. I think that's like back when I still lived in Brooklyn. And I have multiple of them too, because this is back when I was doing a lot of stuff like that. I have lots of different like types of scrap stuff that I found while I was decluttering. So I figured I might as well make use of it. So that is it. That is the idea. Again, I will start to implement this, and then we can talk about it more next month on how it's going, or if you want like a weekly breakdown or something like that. I am probably, as of this video, about to get furloughed. So I'm going to be making some more content on here. And just so everyone is aware, the more you watch these videos, the more it helps out my family during this furlough. So definitely keep watching. And please watch the ads. I know that kind of stinks, but those are what helps pay bills. So I appreciate anything anyone is able to do to assist. But that is it. That's the idea. So I'm either going to do like a weekly check-in or a monthly check-in just to kind of see how it's going, talk through my thoughts, and take you kind of along the ride with me of like why I'm trying, how I am thinking about things, and why I make the decisions that I make going into 2026. I think that's something that is lacking in a lot of planner things right now on the internet. I know a lot of people are tired with decorate with me's and things like that. They want to see actual pen to paper thoughts behind things. So in these long form videos, that's what I would like to do. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you probably in a week to kind of go over this. And we'll see how it goes from there. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.